Hello students, so today we will learn about the division algorithm, that how the division algorithm works actually. So we will check it, that how it is working. So now we have the little bit reverse operation of the multiplication, and in this case in the case of the multiplication we need to do mostly about the additions, and in this case we need to just to have some subtraction also, and the shifting is also in reverse operation, and in the case of the uh, multiplication we are doing shift right, and in this case we need to do the shift left, the dividend. So we have two things, one is my dividend and another is my divisor, and my quotient is in Q register. So here I am using an example of the division. So now what happening in the division, we have one divisor, which is 10001, and one is my dividend which is 01110, this one, and it is in A, and my Q, my another register, I am just append the 000 in the right of these, so that no any problem must happen in my division. So first what I will do, I will check my B. I will check that the magnitude of the B and the A are is less than A is less than A is less than B, or A is greater than equal to B. So I have to check these two conditions, because if my A is less than B, then no division is possible. Okay, if my A is greater than B, then only the division is possible. So I have to check this thing. So what I will do, if I will check this one A is less than B. So what I need to do, I just need to append a 0 from up, and then I will shift my division to the next 5 digits. Okay, so now my A is greater than B. So because A is greater than B, so I can do the division, and now because division is possible here, so I will put 1 here, and then I will start, I will put a 1, and then I will subtract the B from this number, okay, from A, then I will got this number. Okay, then after subtraction, I will again append a 0 from up, and from 0 from up, and then again I will check that if my A is greater than B or not. If my A is greater than B, then again I will do the subtraction, then I will get the answer in this form. If my subtraction is not possible, I will put a 0 in the answer, in a quotient, and then I will shift again. Then I will check my A for the A is greater than B or not. If it is A is greater than B, then if division is possible, then I will put 1 again here, and then I will subtract this number, my B, from the from A. So now I will get this number. Now no more 0 is are possible, because as whatever the zeros are possible, then I will put my 0 here, and I will put a more 0 here, and then I will stop my division process, and my remainder is here 110, which is in A, and my quotient is here, which is my answer, and which is my quotient is here, and my divisor is in B, and my quotient is in A register. Okay, so that's how my division algorithm is working. So that is a process of the division algorithm. You can see that there is a divide operation, and this divide operation has two things. Further we are providing data to the AQ register in the dividend form, and in the B register in the divisor form, and then I will check for the sign. I will do the corresponding action. I will take the QS as a signed answer, sign bit answer, and QS is my sign bit of the answer, and AS is XOR with VS, so that I can get my my signed bit, and then I will store my sign bit in a QS. Sequence counter is initialized by N. Sequence counter is also initialized by N. So you just correct it. It is N. It is not N minus 1. Then it is EA is tends to A plus B bar plus 1. Then it will check that what is the value of the e, because it is the same process as we have done already in my last slides, when we are going the addition process. If my e is a 0, which means that my a is less than b, and my division is possible. If my a is greater than equal to b, then my division is not possible, and I will put divide overflow flag G1. This is dvf is my 1 divide overflow flag, and divide overflow flag will be 1 if my a is greater than b, because this, in this case, no any possibility of the division. So, and I will and the result here, only here, and if it is 0, then I will go further, and then I will shift left EAQ. Now you can see the difference between the multiplication and the division. In the multiplication, after all the process, I was doing the shifting, and in this case we are shifting left, as well as the shift process is in the starting of the algorithm. Then again, if shift left, if my e is 0, then I will do the subtraction. If my and do the subtraction including EA. If my e is equal to 1, then I will just do the subtraction in A, and then I will put Qn tends to 1, because in this case my my division is possible. So my division is possible, so I will put Qn tends to 1, and then I will decrement the sequence counter. If it is not 0, then I will go up. Now if it is 0, that means that A and B has some concern, and what I need to do, if E is 1, then it's okay, then I will put Q1 equal to 1. If E is not 1, that means A is less than 0, and I just need to put a addition of EA tends to A plus B, and then I will put a sequence counter as sequence counter minus 1. So this is my algorithm. That is a table, that is a complete table, as I have already told you about in my last lecture about the how the complete table works. So you can also use this table for your reference, and in this case you have the divisor in the B, and B bar plus 1 is your 2's complement of the B, and E has E, A, Q are used for the purpose of the division, for the storage of the data. Sequence counter is initialized by 5, which is n. N is the number of the bits in the Q register. So now you can I will suggest you that, as I have told you in my last lecture, that how the multiplication is done by means of this algorithm using this table. You should try this table. If you have any concern, then you can talk to me in my class, in my you can say in my interactive class. So you can also talk to me anytime, by calling or by messaging me if you have any concern in this algorithm. So now let's see about the floating point arithmetic operation, which is my next topic, and it is in your syllabus. And whenever we are going to describe a floating point arithmetic operation, then first we need to know that how the floating point numbers is represented. So we have m into r into e. M is your mantissa, r is your base or radix, and e is your exponent. So for example, if it is a 0.53725 into 10 raised power 3, then m is 53725 and e is your 3. Okay, so suppose now we have two numbers, 0.5372400 into 10 raised power 2 and 0.158 000 into 10 raised power minus 1. So how will we add these two numbers? Okay, so now how can I add these two numbers? For this addition in general form, if you will shift this number, then accuracy will be compromised in this case, and you will get something like you can say you will have a 0.24 0000 and you will lose 0.537 into 10 raised power minus 1. Okay, if you will, what you have to do for the addition, you have to just normalize these two numbers. Means your power of 10 must be same. Okay, so for the power of 10 must be same, what you will have to do, you will have to shift these numbers. You have to shift this point from either at left side or right side. In this case, in that case, you have 0.537240. If you will shift this case, shift this point to the right, then this number will come. And if but in this case your mantissa will lose the lose 537, so accuracy will be compromised in this case. Now another case is, if my 0.58 is 4 times 0 is there, then I can shift this point to the left side. If I will shift my point this to the left side, then my number will become this, and this will provide me proper accuracy with this type of the addition. So we should use this kind of thing. Okay, one of the thing. Another thing is this: if we are doing subtraction and in the last we are getting 0 0 here, so what we have to do, we have to shift my this point to that point, to this location. So it is a, if I will get a 0 0 in the last, then it is a underflow case. Okay, and we have to normalize such number. So let's see in the floating point arithmetic operation. So I will tell you that this is my hardware used for the arithmetic operation. You just need to cramp it or write or learn it. And the B register is for, BS is for sign bit, B is for the mantissa, and this B is for your exponent. So complete register makes BR register. Okay. Similarly, E is my register, is my flip flop, parallel adder is there, and parallel adder and comparator is there because we need to compare. So next is sign number. AS is my sign number of A. A1 is my next to sign bit, and my mantissa is in this A register, and my small a contains the exponent of A, and QS is my sign number, Q is my register which holds the mantissa, and Q is my exponent, small q is my exponent, and together they constitute QR, together they constitute AC, together they constitute BR. Okay, so what are the things for the addition and subtraction? Check for zeros, align the mantissa, add or subtract the mantissa, and normalize the result. Okay, so these all operations are, you can see in the algorithm also. So this is for check for zeros. This algorithm, this portion of the algorithm is considered for the checking for the zero. This is for the aligning of the mantissa. This portion of the algorithm is for aligning of the mantissa. This is for your mantissa operation, addition and subtraction, and now this is for your normalization. This process is for your normalization. These all things are described in these 4 points: check for zeros, align for mantissa, add or subtract mantissa, and normalization of the result. Okay, so now you can see that here your BR register is checked. If it is 0, then no other things is needed to done, and it will be ended. If it is not equal to 0, then AC will be checked, and if it is AC is 0, then the content of the BR are transferred to the AC, and operation will be done, or either the addition or the subtraction, and then the if it is addition, then directly answer will be provided. If it is a subtraction, then we need to convert the sign, and just we will have to convert the sign, and then I will have to complete the algorithm. If it is not equal to 0, means if BR is not equal to 0 and AC is also not equal to 0, so A and B will be checked. If A is less than B, then shift right A and a is tends to a plus 1 and then to go back. If it is greater than b, then shift right, b tends to b plus 1 and then go back. If a is equal to b, then do subtraction and addition operation, and then the same algorithm as you have done in the addition purpose, and addition of your normal addition subtraction algorithm which you have already done in the previous slides. So that is a simple arithmetic means. So aligning mantissa is important, normalization is important, and some extra steps are there, means this one and this one. Okay, these are some of the extra steps which are needed for the normalization purpose. Other things are same. Floating point multiplication operation. So what happens in the floating point multiplication operation? Multiplicand is in BR, and multiplier is in QR register. We will check for BR. If it is 0, then no need to do anything, AC must be 0, and I will provide the answer. If it is not equal to 0, then QR will be checked. If QR is also not equal to 0, then the value of the Q is transferred to A, and A is tends to A plus B, and A is A minus bias. I will tell you that what is bias. Multiply the mantissa as in last. I will suggest you that for this you will check for integer multiplication. Okay, integer multiplication. Then you will check for A1. If A1 is 1, then it is your result. If it is 0, then shift left AQ and A minus 1. Floating point division operation. Check for 0 initialized register. I will suggest you student that to do work over it and to see that how you can work in this domain and how you can understand these things. So I will suggest you to work on this. Let's see that what's happening in the you can say in this algorithm. So divisor is in BR, dividend is in Q. So it will check for BR and AC. If both are not equal to 0, then it will go in the next operation. Again, the AC will be 1, and now the operation is somewhat same. You can see that if E is Y is 1, then if that means that A is greater than B and it is not possible, then shift left will be happen. And if A is less than B, then we just need to add the A to the B, and then I need to normalize my biasing, normalize my operation. For that I will just A minus, I will just do A minus B operation. I will just do A minus B operation, and then the A tends to A plus B bias. I will tell you that what is bias. Q is tends to A, and then normal divide operation which we have already seen will be done, and that is end of this operation. So this was the floating point arithmetic. Now what is normalization? Normalization, you can see here that if I have a number, this one, then this is not normalization. When 1.23456 is there, then it is a normalization case. In this case you can see that 2.235456 is, this is your mantissa, this is your mantissa, this is your base, and this is your exponent. Okay, so it is nearly like that, or you can say it may be like that. Means it is also not a normalized case, it is also not normalized case. This case is the only normalized case. Okay, so by default whenever we are going to decide a mantissa, then already a 1 is there, so it is a hardwired 1 is there, and mantissa is here, mantissa, and sign bit is there, mantissa, and this sign bit is there, and exponent is there. Okay, and there is a hardwired one which is enrolled with the Mantissa. So 1 point, if there is any number in the Mantissa, then it is considered that 1.2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and all is your normalized situation of this number. So let's see what is single precision. It is a IEEE 754 format, and in IEEE 75 format is divided into two parts. Basically 754 format is divided into two parts. One is single precision for 32-bit processing system and one for 64-bit processing system. Okay, so for 32 bits processing system it is a single precision system, and it is used for single precision, it is used for double precision. So mostly you know that you in the C programming, you just define float. Whenever you define float, then it is a single precision system. It follows the single precision. When you define double, so then it assign a double precision system, and 64-bit. It is 64-bit in nature. Okay, so that is the number system, that floating point number representation. 1 bit is for sign bit, exponent, and then significant bit or mantissa is there. Similarly, in double precision, the 1 bit is for 11 for sign bit, 11 bits are for exponent, and 20 bits are for mantissa or significant. Okay, 20 plus 32 bits. 20 plus 32 bit means 52 bits are for mantissa. In this case 52 bits are for mantissa. Okay, so there are some of the things for the interpretation of the single precision and the double precision. In a single precision, if both there is a exponent and there is a significant, if both are 0, then it is a plus minus 0 data. If one is 0 and another is non-zero, then it is a subnormal number. If exponent is 1 to 254 and a significant is anything, then it is also normalized number. Okay, but if exponent is 255 and it is 0, significant is 0, then it means that it is a plus or minus infinity. If exponent is 255 and it is non-zero, then it is not a number. Okay, so similarly in the double precision also we can explain this also accordingly. Now let's see single precision normalized number. Let the sign bit is 31 bits and be the exponent at 32 23 be E, and mantissa is the significant, and 22 to 0 is M. The valid range of the exponent is 1 to 254. Okay, so this is my exponent number. Now we have already told about the that what is the biasing. So now the actual exponent is biased by 127 to get the E. The actual value of the exponent is E minus 127. So I will suggest you to do some of the examples on the base of the for the biasing of the single precision number and double precision number. So this gives you 1 minus 127 and 2 raised power minus 126 to 2 raised power 127 range. So the exponent range is 2 raised power minus 126 to plus 2 raised power 127. Okay. So I have already told you that there is a 1 dot M in binary dot, then the binary pointer is before bit 22 and the 1 is not present explicitly. The sign bit s equal to 1 for a negative number is 0, and for a positive 0 for a positive number. So the value of the normalized number is minus 1 raised power s and 1 dot M multiplied by 2 e raised power minus 127. So it is a normalized number. So it is an example. So this is my binary sequence. 1 is for my minus 1 raised power s is my sign bit is 1, so definitely it will become negative. If it is 0, then it was the positive number, but it is a 1, so it is a negative number. So now 2 raised power what is the binary value of the 127? what is the value of the 127? It is 011111. And what is the value of here? We are getting, it is a 32-bit number system, so next 11 bits, 4, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 8 bits, sorry, not 11 bits, it is a 8 bit. So 4, 4, 10, only these two numbers, 4, 4, 8. So I will have to just subtract this number, and I will get the 55 here in decimal, and the value is this one. So what I have to do, I have to just normalize this number, and I will just need to put this point somewhat here, and I can put minus 4.9 something multiplied by 10 raised power 16. So it is my decimal number. So what we have done here, we have just converted the binary number to the decimal number here. So another example is the decimal number plus 105.625. So plus 105 I have just put in the binary form it like that, 1.1001 into 2 raised power 6. So now I have to just normalize this number. For the normalization process, what I have to do, I have to just see that how this 6 can come by when I make it a 127. So it is 133. So this is my binary number, which is my exponent, and this exponent will be available here, and because it is a positive number, so I have to put 0 here, and 8 bits of the exponents must be here. And next this is my mantissa, and this mantissa should come here, 101, 00, 11 and 01, and all the other bits must be 0. So that's how we can define my exponent numbers or floating point numbers. So now next is count of the numbers. The floating point of the numbers means this is the range of a computing system of a floating point number. Okay, this is my range for the mantissa, and this is my range for my exponent. Okay, so similarly, range of the significant, the range of the significant is 1 to 2 raised power minus 23. So that's all about the unit 1, and today I have completed my unit 1. So if you have any problem, you can write me, and I will solve your problem and query regarding the unit 1. So I will suggest you student that properly understand the algorithm and try to solve it on a piece of paper using pen or pencil. Okay, so thank you for this lecture. Next I will start my unit 2. Thank you.